Howdy YouTubers, it is July 21st, 2019, and these are your morning announcements. Rick and I are riding into work. Here is the lovely and talented Mr. Hug. Good morning, Mr. Hug.
Good morning.
We are heading in. And today, we are just doing some setup and cleaning. We are not working any events today, which is awesome. Mr. Hug, are you Grandma Hug? Are you channeling Grandma Hug? This is what Grandma Hug does. Rick used to make me laugh, especially when she would turn corners, right? Running the steering wheel through her fingers. Oh, we're gonna get stopped for drunk driving, and then we're gonna be late for work. That'll be awesome. It would make a great YouTube video, though. So anyway, this morning I was thinking, I think about weird things in the morning.
All the time.
Rick will tell you all about that. This morning I was thinking about, a certain thing. It's called a Tesseract. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of heard of a Tesseract. It's Tesseract, I believe is how you spell it. Tesseract. A Tesseract is a 4-dimensional cube. It's something that we can't create or represent here in our 3-dimensional world because we are stuck in a 3-dimensional world. A Tesseract can only exist in a 4-dimensional world. So basically, it's the part of physics that deals with higher dimensions and multiple dimensions, and it's a fascinating subject. We can create something that looks like the shadow of a Tesseract. Like if you take a cube, just a regular 6-sided cube, and you hold it up in front of a light, the shadow that it creates is a 2-dimensional shadow. It's a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional object. Well, we can create the shadow. We can create a 3-dimensional representation of a 4-dimensional object, but we can't actually create the object itself, if that makes sense. And in thinking about that got me thinking about God and how here on Earth we are stuck in this sort of 3-dimensional closed system that doesn't allow us to see the fullness and vastness and multifaceted aspects of God. We can only see it's like looking through a tiny peephole, right? We can only see so much of what God is, and we have to base all of our faith around this small understanding that we have of God. Now, the Tesseract is provable mathematically. That's what makes the Tesseract so interesting to me, is that although we cannot create it here, we can prove its existence through mathematics. God, to me, the proof is in the creation. Everything that we see around us, the trees, the people, the rocks, the atmosphere, everything from the macro to the micro, everything from the large expanse of the universe, which is constantly in motion and rotating, and although it seems chaotic, it's not. There's clearly, to me, divine organization behind the universe. All the way down to the micro, which is like, think of an atom. Think of all the particles rotating around an atom. It's all very divinely organized. in order for us to be able to have the physical manifestation of things here in this world, right? So it got me thinking about like how there are people out there who say that they cannot believe in God because they cannot perceive what God represents to us, especially when they look around at the world and they see all this evil that is going on in this world. And there is a lot of evil that's going on in this world. Let's face it, you know. Mankind is terrible to mankind. Totally terrible. So I can understand questioning whether or not there's a God. I mean, if there is a God, why would a loving and kind God allow this kind of thing to happen? But for the most part, when we're talking about evil, not natural sciences or earth sciences, but when we're talking about evil, the evil that is done in this world is done from one man to another or one woman to another. You know, it's not that there is this cosmic force that's causing these things to happen. We do this to ourselves, you know. And a lot of what happens with our earth is just entropy. Entropy and just basic natural sciences. Earthquakes happen for a reason. Volcanoes happen for a reason. Perhaps we shouldn't live in areas where there are earthquakes and volcanoes, or areas that are prone to tsunamis or flooding. Yeah, that would probably mean that we would all have to be grouped up into just certain areas. But really, if we were being practical about this world that we live in, if we really took it into consideration and looked at all the natural sciences and put it into practice, we wouldn't be living in areas that were prone to natural disasters. That's all I'm saying about that. But anyways, I just wanted to like talk about that today because, you know, I think that we try to make God into something that we can fully understand, and in doing so, we sort of diminish the importance and the awesomeness of God. And I think that it's okay. It's okay to say, yep, there are just some things about God that I don't understand and probably won't until I die. And that's okay. That's what faith is for. Faith is the belief in things that are unseen. And sometimes we just have to have that faith. Have to have that faith that God's with us, that He wants what's best for us, that He sees the universe past, present, and future all at one time and sees so much more than what we see. And we just have to accept that. So, do you have anything to add, Mr. Hug? No, of course he doesn't. So you guys have a great Sunday. I love you guys. Mwah. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.